Hello friends, it's been a long while since I actually did a video, about a week, and I gotta admit the last video that I did was the live album reaction, and if I'm completely honest with my audience, and I was in the comments for that video, that didn't go well. I had hoped to do the album review of Sleep Token's new album, the Even in Arcadia, and instead of doing it like this video, which is recorded and then recorded and listen and then edit it later, I did that video live, and because of the live process, the microphones and sound processing got all messed up, mangled. The sound is actually really terrible. I meant it to be a hi-fi review because of my unique setup and a little bit atypical of a lot of listeners, at least from my experience. And I wanted it to be meaningful, and yeah, it didn't go well. So I kind of spent the rest of the week in thinking about, like, that was a pretty big failure, and I meant it to be a really big thing because the album came out last weekend, and the timing of a review or a deep listen would have been really great, but because it got all messed up, it didn't land the way I wanted it to. So I felt like I was disappointed myself, and then I also felt like because of the intent, I disappointed the audience. So yeah, it is what it is. Got to live with it. I'm not going to take it down. It's going to stand as an example of what I shouldn't do. Should do better with my videos. Find ways to create and do some things. And then I also felt a little bit like imposter syndrome because it's a new band. Not a new band, but their success is very new as of the last 2 or 3 years. And because of the trendiness of their album, I thought, yeah, I'll do this review and get it out there so it's in the trendy sort of zone. And then I felt like I was chasing the wave of popularity, and the fact that it failed on me is sort of a sign to me to say, like, hey, stop chasing the popular stuff. Do your own authentic thing the way that you've been doing, and don't try to get clicks and views based on trends, because like, inevitably it's just going to force you into following and being trendy, and that's not the kind of prison I want to be in. I don't want to have to follow behind everybody and do what everybody's doing and try to keep up. I mean, that's what a lot of the successes and algorithms and everything's built on. They, slowly over time, this marketing and business has been, safely making, like, Fast and the Furious 13, and, like, they don't take risks on anything anymore. Everything is calculated and plotted and data and statistics, and it's robotic, and there's no, like, creative originality in this stuff anymore. So I think I learned my lesson, and I'm paying for it a little bit in my mind anyways for this week. So what am I doing this week? Well, this week I've got a number of CDs going on, and in the background this week I'm actually listening, or I'm on the influence of Sleep Token's old producer, George Level. I think that's his name, George something. Anyways, he's produced another band that I enjoy, Monuments. He produced Loathe. He produced the first 3 albums by Sleep Token. The first 2 EPs and the albums, Take Me Back to Eden and Even in Arcadia, are done by Carl Bowen. So those are the last 2 are different. But anyways, to get his perspective on the albums, he recommended Porcupine Tree. Now, to settle the argument, I really do think that Sleep Token's a progressive rock metal band, just like Porcupine Tree, and I would classify Opeth in there a little bit, much like Dream Theater is, and there's a few others that fall in the category of more progressive sounding because they have multiple kinds of genres and soundscapes in their music. It's not just hard blast beats or heavy metal like Pantera or Slayer. They don't fit just in one category. So for me, that's progressive. George, the producer, was saying that albums by Porcupine Tree sounded really great, and I'm not that familiar with them. I kind of know Porcupine Tree, but I'm not that familiar with them. So anyways, I'm doing my diligence here today, and I'm listening to that album, the earlier couple of albums, getting familiar with their library, their sound on that influence. And I'm surprised it took me this long to actually listen to them, because I've been into all kinds of progressive metal and like heavy metal bands forever, and I didn't even realize that Porcupine Tree was really big through the later 90s, early 2000s, and then they took a bit of a break between 2012 and I think 2020, 21. A lot of remastered albums in there, which is great. A lot of live performances. But yeah, so I'm doing my diligence since I'm learning a little bit more about their production value as a band and enjoying music more. So that, coupled with this idea of making content, the last number of weeks, to be honest with you, equipment here hasn't changed. The room hasn't changed. I haven't gotten any new products in. It's still ISO acoustics under everything. Arendal SVS, BuckEye amps, the Rotel Preamp and CD player, and the Wiim ProPlus have all been pretty stagnant. As a low subscriber count, not that creative, no editing, not really advertising worthy reviewer. I mean, I've had Arendals in tons of my videos, but the company doesn't use any of my material for their promotions, much like K-Pace Guy and Youthman and Randy, and like they put all kinds of other influencers and reviews, because those guys edit their videos and make their videos sound a certain way. And even though I do a lot and I'm prolific at it, they don't consider me for advertising. So that's the kind of niche I've worked into. I don't know, I guess I'm not looking to fit into a mold in order to be accepted, and that's the way I've been my whole life. The way I talk about the products and the quotes or the things that I've said in video just don't lend themselves to mass media, then so be it. I don't get into mass media. But then it's the same thing with the music. I don't like all kinds of pop music. I like fringe and very sort of different sounding music, alternative, progressive metal, rock, all kinds of like interesting jazz bands, niche stuff, things that are not popular. Like this one I'm going to recommend. This is the guitarist from Meshuggah and Morgan Agron. This is the Soul. Let me look at the name. Soul Niger Within. I don't know what it means. Special Defects. This is I think this is the V33 version. It's hard to tell. I actually think this might be the original. This is probably the original release. They did have a secondary release, but this is the original import. So anyways, this album stands as a metal, metal and instrumental and very, very alternative, experimental type of albums, very progressive. It's one of the most classic, if you're a Meshuggah fan or a progressive metal fan. This one's super, super unique. It's not very popular at all. I'm sure if I played the whole thing, it probably wouldn't even get copyright struck because it's so unique and niche. I think they might have even marketed it themselves. I don't even know who's this. Yeah, some European label. What does it say? All rights reserved. Yes, so UAE. I don't know who produced it. It doesn't even say on the spine, I don't think. Yeah, UAE Disc 4. So this is a very unique. Anyways, the whole point is saying I've taken a bit of a step back from trying to do advertising and getting products in and chasing all the newest, hottest products in order to get attention. The atmosphere for getting attention and competing with all the other guys in the media space, the audio space, has been a little bit difficult. I don't fit in there. I mean, I'm friends with them. I'm peers with a lot of the guys. I appreciate what they're doing. I like doing my own thing, which is live. I don't like talking in videos that much. I would prefer to have my friends with me and in chat, and other things. Obviously, last week when I did the album review, that didn't go so well. If I get enough comments, I'll do this one. I wouldn't mind talking about this album somehow. And I would consider doing the Even in Arcadia video again. However, it won't be my first run through, and it'll be sort of like a follow-up, a hi-fi follow-up on that album if I do it. So if enough people say they'd like to hear about it, then cool, I'll do that. Otherwise, I might just leave it as is. Doing a reaction video and song reactions kind of works when I'm doing a discovery videos, but doing a whole album just because the band's popular sort of made me feel a little gross, if I'm honest. I love the band and I love sharing it with other people, but trying to get in and just to fit in doesn't feel like me. So hopefully you all appreciate that. And if there is anything about any of the previous videos or stuff that I have going on in the systems, always feel free to ask, put them in comments, message me, email me. All that information is there. Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Discord links are in the bio and profile and all that. I do like talking with and discussing music and resources and a bunch of other things. And I'm in the process of trying to figure out what the next step is. The media space is a little strange, and a lot of the guys have a head start. They're very inside the pocket right now. They've got a lot of sponsors. They've hooked up with each other, and I'm a little bit on the outside, so I don't know what to do about that. But you know, I respect my friends. I love what they're doing, and I'm glad they're making success and headway, and they've got some cool stuff to showcase. And they figured it out, and I guess I just haven't figured it out yet. So, take care of yourselves. Have a great long weekend, as it is here in Canada. It is May 17th today, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the music a little bit more before the end of my day, and I'll catch everybody in the next video, which I don't know when that's going to be or what it's going to be about, but I'm open to suggestions, and like I said, I'm around if anybody wants to chat. So take it easy. I'll see you in the future. Have a good weekend.